A Ghost Story, directed by David Lowery and starring Rooney Mara and Casey Affleck. Towards the beginning of the movie, Casey Affleck's character dies in a car crash and wakes up as a ghost, almost a children's costume version of one, with a sheet over him and two eye holes cut out. Throughout the rest of the movie, Casey Affleck's character goes on a journey through his past, present, and future, seeming to be searching for something that he is missing. This movie brings up a lot of existential ideas, like what is the meaning of life? What does it mean to die? What happens after we die? And what is our impact on the world around us? And how do we leave a legacy on this world? With having these ideas, this movie could seem very pretentious, but it really isn't. This movie takes you on an emotional journey and is one of the saddest movies I've seen in a while, which is not always a bad thing when you're watching a movie. This movie is very much visual storytelling. There's minimal dialogue in this film, and even the way it is presented on the theater screen, it is shown as a 4:3 shot with rounded edges, and it really makes it feel like you're watching somebody's home movies. It really feels personal, and it really adds to the emotional draw of this film. The score of this movie is hauntingly great, and the cinematography is breathtaking. They have these long, uncut shots that really dwell on certain images on the screen. It really adds to the film overall. There's one scene specifically where you watch Rooney Mara sit on the floor and eat an entire pie. It really doesn't seem like that much, and it kind of sounds stupid if you just hear it. But in the movie, you really feel for this character, and you really understand what she is going through. And that is because of the great performance by Rooney Mara and the amazing cinematography and directing that this movie has. The only negatives I can really think of, and these are very nitpicky, but there is one specific scene that kind of stands out from the rest of the movie. It is very dialogue heavy, and it really feels like they're literally telling the audience the meaning of the movie. I didn't really like that because I felt like they're almost talking down to us, like we wouldn't understand what this movie is about. And probably the only other thing I could say is the rewatchability isn't very high on this movie. You could probably see it one or two more times after you see it for the first time to better understand it, but after that, I'm not sure it's very rewatchable. This movie is definitely not for everyone. It's probably going to be a very divisive movie. Either you're going to fall on the side of you hate it or you loved it. I personally fell on the side of loved it, but I'm sure some people saw the movie as very boring or dry or meaningless, while I saw it and probably other people saw it as very emotional, heartfelt, and really said something about life. It all depends on what kind of movies you like and whether or not this falls in those kind of categories. I personally would give A Ghost Story a 94%. I wouldn't say you need to see this in theaters, but I would recommend that you see it eventually, because this is a movie that you need to form your own opinion on and will kind of be formed from your own preference in movies. I can confidently say, though, that if you don't really like artsy movies, this probably isn't a movie for you. But if you do appreciate filmmaking techniques in general, it's definitely worth checking out, even if you don't really like the story in general. But for me, it is one of the best and unique movies I've seen this year by far.
We're supposed to make decisions together. Don't you understand them?
Yes.
So why am I the only one making them?
Because I don't want what you want.
Because you want to stay here?
Mm-hmm.
Why?